Local Resident Producers Program. The program content is the sole responsibility of the producer and does not necessarily reflect the views or policies of CATV2, Oshkosh Community Media Services, the City of Oshkosh, or Time Warner Cable.
Hi everyone, welcome to Eye on Oshkosh. Cheryl Hentz here along with Dan Rylance. And on this episode we're going to be talking, at least in the first half, about Big Brothers Big Sisters. Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Fox Valley region assists area youth in becoming competent, confident, caring individuals through relationships with caring mentors. And in fact, every week in our region, about 500 plus men and women who are volunteering give of themselves and their time and their talents in some cases to kids in need. And we're going to find out during the next 30 minutes more about the Big Brothers Big Sisters program, what it is, what it does, who it serves, and we're going to hear about a very, very special event coming up in just a few weeks. So here to give us all that information are Tracy Jenks. Now Tracy is the executive director
Correct.
of Big Brothers Big Sisters. And joining her is Ross Losey. All right, I got it right. So already I'm off to a good start here. And Ross, you're a mentor and a volunteer?
I'm actually a little brother. I've been a little brother for 34 years.
You're a little brother,
Nope.
not
Yes,
a big brother.
I've had a big brother for 34 years.
Now that's an interesting twist on things.
Yes.
I hadn't
Yes.
expected
I'm the
that.
little brother.
So all right, we're going to hear more about that. So anyway, thanks to both of you for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Let's start with finding out exactly what Big Brothers Big Sisters is. And Tracy, since you're a staff member and the executive director, the top person, you'd probably be the best person to really answer that question.
You bet. Big Brothers Big Sisters is an organization that helps to facilitate putting an adult role model into the life of children who, for one reason or another, need that role model. This could be a child who has lost a parent, either to death, illness, incarceration, divorce, or otherwise absent in the family. And Big Brothers Big Sisters helps to find another adult role model to put in their life to meet on average of an hour a week.
Okay, so it's always a situation then where one or both parents are missing?
Most often.
Okay.
There are occasions when that's not true, but by and large, the majority of children that we service are without one of their parents.
Okay. Now I hear different things, and we were talking about this just before the start of the show. I hear different things, different terminology. I hear big brother, I hear big sister, I hear little brother, little sister, and I hear mentors.
Yep.
Now, are all big brothers and big sisters mentors? Are they synonymous, or can they be different things?
In our program, Big Brothers Big Sisters is a mentoring program. So there are other mentoring programs, but if you are a big brother or a big sister, you are essentially a mentor. That's exactly what we
Okay.
do. Yep.
All right, that clears that up for me. So,
bet, you
so
bet.
how can someone become involved in the program as a mentor?
What you would do is you would either call our agency, you would hop on our website, which is bemybig.com, or you could, we could mail you an application. It takes as little as 5 minutes. You fill out that application, there are some references, and we bring you in for an interview. You can either come to our office or we could come to you. And we have staff that work with you to make sure that your preferences are the same as the child that we would match you with. For instance, if we have a child that's afraid of water, we're not going to match them with someone who loves to go fishing.
Or someone who's a lifeguard, perhaps?
Right, exactly, exactly. And we're also going to work within your parameters of time. We have different types of mentoring programs. We have something called a community-based mentoring program, which means you can meet anytime that you want for an hour a week on any day that you want. And the school-based program where and I'm a school-based mentor, so I meet with my little, we call them, I'm a big and she's a little.
Okay.
I meet with my little over her lunch hour at school. So during the school year, I travel to her school and we eat lunch together. And her school is very close to my office, so it works out very conveniently. And we meet every Thursday. So we kind of work with the mentor schedule and whatever fits best into their schedule.
Okay, and one other question about the application process. You know, in this day and age, we hear more and more about screening that has to be done when people are working with youth.
Absolutely.
What's involved in that? Because I'm sure you guys do that as well.
Yeah, as you can imagine, you know, any organization that works with youth or puts adults in access of youth is going to be a target for those perhaps with not the best ideas of what they want to do. So Big Brothers Big Sisters nationally has a high safety standard. We have kind of set the bar for mentoring organizations in terms of what we do. It does make the process take just slightly longer, but we do work with an investigative company. We do background checks on individuals. And again, it's nothing to be concerned about, but it's something that we need to do in order to ensure the safety of the children.
Sure.
We're not trying to screen people out. We're just trying to make sure that we're keeping a high level of safety within the organization.
Sure.
And then the other thing that we do in terms of, you know, there are certainly people who maybe have not, don't have a criminal record, but there is still something, you know, that we need to keep an eye on. That's where our match support comes in. Once you are matched, we have a match support specialist that maintains contact with the match, the mentor, and the parent, and make sure that everything's going okay and there aren't any signs of anything going the direction that it shouldn't. So they're always available to the mentor or the child or the parent.
Okay. Ross, how did you become a little brother, or a little, as they
Well,
call
back in 1974, my brother, I had three other older brothers, and the gentleman was there checking up on how my brother's matches were, and I tapped on his back at 9.5 years old, and I says, "Hey, can I have a big brother?" And he got me one. He got me the best one. He said he'd get me the best one. He did.
What was your family dynamic? What was the situation there that...
Divorced family. My father left when I was 4, so, you know, I pretty much didn't have a father there. And I was about 9.5 when I asked the gentleman to get me a big brother, and he did. And he said he'd get me the best one, and he did, after 34 years.
Tell us a little bit about what it's done for you over the years.
That's an awesome program. I mean, Mike he was my best man at my wedding, and I mean, we do stuff on a weekly basis. He's like a dad. I mean, he just is. I mean, anything, fishing, camping, even working, stacking wood. We made stacking wood fun. I mean, he's a great guy. He's taught me a lot of life lessons, and he still does. He still does. After 34 years, there isn't a day go by that he makes sure I'm on a straight and narrow. He keeps me honest.
Sure. Dan, can I just ask one more
Absolutely.
question
Yeah.
before I turn it over to you? Because that leads me to a question for you then, Tracy. You know, obviously, you know, we've got an adult here who still maintains a very close relationship with his big.
Yep.
Is that, I'm assuming that that's a typical kind of thing in some cases throughout the country within the program. Does the relationship have to go on like this, and is it as structured once they get to be adults?
No, in fact, you know, this is an informal relationship, and Ross is welcome to come to any of our activities that he would like to. But formally, the kids graduate from the program at the age of 16,
Okay.
and so they're formally out of our program. However, we do find that when littles come to certain moments in their life, they graduate from college, they get married. There are points where they look back and they think, "Holy cow! You know, that relationship with my big brother or my big sister really made a big difference in my life. It really made an impact." And one of the things that Ross mentioned, you know, stacking wood. I have a little sister, and the first thing I wanted to do was, you know, bring her presents or let's go do this or it's hanging out together. It's spending an hour of undivided time of your attention with this child. It's nothing, you know, extravagant, and it's nothing that you have to have extensive training before you do.
Or a huge bank account.
No,
You know,
no.
you can do anything.
Absolutely not. Go for a walk, do
Yeah.
yard work, hang out. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
a
all about
blast.
doing things together.
Yeah.
Well, and I can see where it would be good not only for the kids, but you know, for those of us who maybe didn't have a big sister or a little sister. You know, I only had a brother, so
Me
you
too.
know, There you
I'm
go.
liking my little sister. We're getting along just fine. Yeah.
So there you go, Dan.
I want to ask about the little sisters and little brothers. You went through the process how you pick big brothers and big sisters. Where does your pool of little brothers and little sisters come from?
The children are referred either from one of the parents
Okay.
or from school counselors or school principals. Those are the two primary way that we are getting references for. And then they are also screened into the program. So there's an interview process that they go through as well. So we have files both on the children as well as the adults.
Are the mentors anonymous for personal phone numbers and things like that?
All records are confidential.
So a little sister couldn't call you at 11 o'clock at night on Thursday and say, I'm in trouble?
Well, it depends upon your match. If you have a
Okay.
community-based match, then you have, you obviously have, you're exchanging numbers because
Okay.
you're meeting at different times and dates. Now with the school-based match, I'm just meeting the child at school, and right now, unless we want to do something over the summer, which we are, we'll exchange numbers, but my little is 6, so I'm exchanging numbers with her foster mom at this point now with her. But yeah, there is a time where you might get a phone call and
Okay.
it might say,
Help.
I need some advice,
I
or
need some advice, yeah.
I need some help. And
Can you quantify a little bit? I think you said initially to Cheryl's question
Mm-hmm.
about 500. Can you kind of break that down into age groups and gender and ethnicity at all?
you bet. Of the 500 children that we serve, right now we're serving probably 60-40 split of female to male, so about
Okay.
60% female, 40% male. We do have about 300 children on our waiting list right now for mentors. Now, of that, there's close to 70% who are boys. It's generally more of a challenge for us to find men who are willing to become mentors for the young boys on our waiting list than it is to find women for the little girls.
Are girl needs for mentoring different than boys' needs?
Yeah, I would
Uh-huh.
think so.
Yeah. Can you give an example
would think
that
so.
would be different?
Well, it's funny that you asked that because I have a son who's 9. And when I went through the program, I just assumed I would be matched with a little boy. I haven't been here that long with Big Brothers Big Sisters, and one of the first things I wanted to do was become a mentor.
Okay.
And so I had always assumed that I would have a little boy. And when I was matched with a little girl, I panicked a little bit because I thought, oh my goodness, I know what little boys would enjoy doing because I have one, but I'm not quite sure what a little girl would enjoy doing. So that was my first reality check of she just wants to spend time with me. If I don't know the latest fashion or the newest doll or whatever the case may be, that's okay.
She can
Because we
teach
d-
you.
She could, and she would.
Yeah.
But it's coloring, it's hanging out, it's talking. So I think there's that constant, that kind of attention, that time, that talking to them, and then you take their lead. You go from them.
Now, as a big brother for a little brother, would they have different needs?
That's hard to say.
Yeah.
I think bigs do participate for different reasons.
Yeah.
I really wanted to participate because it was important for me to know that our program made a difference. One of the things that was difficult for me is understanding how an hour a week could possibly make a difference in the life of a child. I read it, I saw the statistics, but it's still hard to swallow.
It says a lot about the family structure, lack of family structure, doesn't it?
It-
That hour is so precious and so important.
It really is. And about 2 months into my match, my little, her mom ended up leaving and just not coming back. And the school counselor met me at school that day and said, Ambrosia's not going to be here. She's probably not coming back. She'll be at a different school. But it would be really important for you to stay meeting with her because you're the most consistent thing in her life right now.
Yeah.
And I thought, 2 months,
Yeah.
2 months, an hour a week, and I'm the most consistent thing in her life. So it was a little bit of a convincing for me, but I have found, and I think many bigs do that, and you probably talk to your big brother, he'd say the same thing, is that we get out of it more
That's true.
than the child does. I honestly believe I'm getting a ton, more than I thought I would. I went into this thinking, I'm going to help this little girl, and she's teaching me things about life that
Yeah.
I didn't know I could.
What's the quote about from the mouths of babes?
Yes,
Huh?
right,
Yeah,
right.
It's true.
Well, and I think, Dan, like you said, it says a lot about our family dynamics these days, but, it also says to me that hey, this is about quality of time, not
Right.
necessarily the quantity.
Right.
I mean, an hour a week. Tell us a little bit about how, and either one of you can kind of field this question. I mean, 34 years, you know, you probably
some
are an expert
experience
at
there,
this.
yeah.
You know, tell us how an hour a week can make a difference.
Just someone to talk to. Just someone to talk to and share the day's events, and a male figure. My mother, she did an awesome job with us 4 boys all on her own. But to have Mike there, there's things that you can talk to a man about that you couldn't talk to your mother about. And just that structure, you know. Like I said, even stacking wood was fun, you know. I mean, we have fun working, but yet there was other fishing. We went tons of things we've done. And it's just, it's nice having someone there to talk to, even if it's just a phone call. Say, well, I have this situation, what should I do? You know, a mother might act different than, and I've called him many a times for advice. I still do. After 34 years,
sure.
I still call him every day for stuff here or there. And you never know what's going to come up. Electrical issue, well, geez, you know, sparks flew out of my electrical box. Can you help me out? I'll be right there. Don't touch a thing, he says.
And you won't get a bill for that, right?
Exactly.
Question, Tracy. You know, because in so many families there are boys and girls, do you ever pair a big sister with a little brother, or for obvious reasons, is it just males with males and females with females?
Most commonly, it's males with males and females with females. In rare occasions, we do have females who are paired with little boys, perhaps if there's a loss of a mother, or simply because of the sheer fact that we have so many little boys on our waiting list. But right now, we're really focusing on that. What we do not do is we don't match male bigs with female littles. It's a national policy that we have that Big Brothers Big Sisters needs to observe.
Okay, let's talk about your budget. What is a budget for you folks?
Approximately $600,000 a year, and in terms of revenue, if we want to divide that approximately into thirds, we're talking about maybe a third coming from area United Ways.
Okay.
We cover a 4-county area, so we're talking about the Fox Cities United Way, the Oshkosh Area United Way, Winneconne, Waupaca, New London. We're talking about a third coming from grants.
Okay.
Grants that I would write to the Community Foundation of the Fox Valley Region, the Oshkosh Area Community Foundation, and other family foundations. And then a third coming from donations from individuals or special events.
Like we're going to talk about in a
You
minute.
betcha.
That's right.
Yes, yes.
Go ahead,
That's
lead
that's
us into that.
That's a large budget.
It-
I mean, just from thinking about what do you
You
spend?
bet.
What do you spend that on? I mean,
You
what
bet.
are your expenses? I guess would be a fair question.
A big portion of what our expenses are related to the services that we provide. Staffing, the maintaining of the matches, the making of the matches, the support that happens afterwards, the background checks, the training,
Okay.
the orientation. So there's an awful lot of staff time. I mean, a lot of what we do is really about the people, the service that we provide. We also provide our services for free, so there really isn't any earned income that comes from that. But there's not a whole lot, and there's rent.
Sure.
But there's not a whole lot of other overhead aside from that. A little bit of printing.
This is a pretty
you know.
bare, straight operation.
It's a pretty lean. It sounds
Yeah.
like a lot of money, but when
Yeah.
it gets right down to it, it's pretty darn lean.
Okay.
Okay, I want to move into what this event you're going to have, and maybe Ross, you could talk. You have a wonderful name. We were talking off camera before. The Big Deal.
A
Yeah.
big deal.
Tell us what the big deal is. and
What's the big deal?
and when is it?
Well, it's August 15th, 16th, and 17th.
Okay.
And pretty much it's a 3-day kickball tournament and music festival,
Okay.
of course, to benefit the Big Brothers and Big Sisters.
Okay.
And we're going to have a lot of fun. We have local bands, local restaurants that are joining in for food. And we have a double elimination kickball tournament that's going to be going on. 24 teams.
Where is it at, Ross?
That's at 4420 Sherman Road. That's actually my farm. It's in my backyard.
Electrical working okay over there this year?
Electrical's working because everything's working great because Baldor Generator was so gracious
Excellent.
to
I couldn't
donate light
resist that.
towers and a generator. Every
Yeah.
year they help.
And your big helped probably, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He is there. He's at the meetings. He's making sure that we stay on track for everything that's supposed to be for the Big Brothers. He doesn't want to get us off track, which is great. He always keeps me honest, which is awesome. That's
go.
his job.
And a really reasonable price is $10 for the whole 3 days.
$10 for the whole 3 days.
Yeah.
And what's really nice about it is Friday night we have a tavern-style fish fry going on from Mike's Place. Seth Murphy from Mike's Place is doing a fish fry. And we have numerous local bands, good bands. We have, oh gosh, let's see here. There's brats. I'm checking the food here. Brats and I got this on my Euros, and there's a girl that's going to have a slushy stand set up. So we're going to have all the, almost like sawdust days, you know. And Lee Beverage is providing, and Pepsi is providing soda. So we'll have pretty much just like a normal festival would have, water, soda, beverages. And
Tell me about a kickball tournament. How does this work?
well, there's 24 teams. It's a
Okay,
double
where are the-
elimination.
teams, I mean, where do the teams come from? Just from the Fox River?
Yep,
Okay.
they're locally sponsored.
Okay.
And there's 10 people to a team.
Have to be mixed, male and female?
Yes,
Okay.
co-ed.
All
I
right.
should say that. Yeah.
Are there are they consisting of little brothers, little sisters, big?
We
brothers,
have an
big
opening
sisters,
for
or-
that team yet. We're
Okay.
we're working on
Okay.
that. We don't have all the teams filled yet. We have like 9 more openings for teams. But it's local businesses that have been coming forward saying, "Oh, this is a blast."
How
This
many
is gonna
innings
be
do they
fun."
play?
5 innings.
5 innings.
45 minutes.
10 kick rule or
15.
15?
15, yeah.
Okay.
The mercy rule.
Okay, yeah,
15
yeah.
runs.
All right.
If there's 15 runs.
And a double
then,
elimination.
Double
So
elimination.
you lose the first one, you can work your way back.
Yeah,
bet.
which
Okay.
the key is to win.
Yeah.
The key is to win.
Yeah.
And of course, we're giving trophies for first, second, and third place.
Okay.
And the winner of the tournament will get $200 to the charity of their choice. Not necessarily the Big Brothers and Big Sisters,
Right.
but because the Boys and Girls Club showed interest in having a team, and they're going to want, of course, win for their, their charity. So we left that open so that people would be able to, be competitive.
Sure.
We want it fun, yet competitive. So.
So the funds that are coming to you all then from this, Tracy, is the $10 admission,
Correct.
if you will,
Yep.
and any proceeds that are coming from the concessions.
There are actually, and just to back up a little bit, this is just so neat that this is all Ross's idea, and fantastic, a great example of how a child who started out as a little has grown up and now wants to give back to the organization. I mean, it makes my heart sing. It's fantastic, and Ross has a bunch of individuals who are just as caring, who are putting their time and effort into organizing this, and they've made it as easy as possible for me, which is fantastic. So many of the individuals who are involved, who own businesses, are donating their time and energy to put this together, and once the expenses are covered, then any of the sponsorship dollars or ticket revenue will then come our way once the expenses are covered. So it's just wonderful.
Would mentors be bringing their little brothers? I mean,
You
that would be
betcha.
that'd be a
You
really
betcha.
neat, huh?
Absolutely.
That's
you
the big
bet.
thing.
Yeah. Oh, I would
And
think
we're
so.
Yeah.
putting the information up and making sure it's on our activity list and on our website so that
Absolutely.
bigs and littles can come. And we'll also have a tent there. We're doing our best to make sure people know how easy it is to become a mentor and what the need is.
Is this the first year you folks have done
Yes.
this? Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. This is the first year. I've had festivals in the past, but this is the first year I decided to, it's time to do it for the Big Brothers and Big. I've been always wanting to repay them for what they've done for me, and I just haven't been able to figure out what it was. And then it just dropped right in my lap. I'm like, this is perfect.
That's a wonderful thing you're doing, really.
Wow.
It really is.
It's fun.
So are you hoping to make this an annual event then?
Yes.
So this
yes,
is the first ever.
This will continue. I'll guarantee you that.
All
This
right.
will continue.
Excellent. Let's get a plug in for, obviously we can't name all the businesses involved in this, but why don't you give us a plug for, some of the businesses that are involved in this?
Well, there's a bunch of people out there. My committee is got a lot of sponsors that they're working on. They're still working on kickball teams, but Baldor Generators is big because they helped us with light towers, and generators. And Lee Beverage has been huge, helping us, just guiding us through and bringing coolers out there, not only for their products but for the food, you know, so that the vendors know that they have, oh, geez, we have refrigeration there. So Lee Beverage has been awesome. Local businesses like Pete's Garage Bar, St. Thomas's, Miller Chrysler, Plymouth, Lincoln. Norm Miller has been awesome, helping me out, spreading the word. He's a great guy. Citizens First, Alliance Laundry, they out of Ripon, I believe.
The old Speed Queen.
Yes, they donated a washer and dryer to our raffle.
Wow.
They didn't even blink an eye. They heard our story and it was, oh, here you go. So there's been a lot of, and of course, my committee members, Scott Lynn from Elite Countertops and Seth Murphy from Mike's Place, they've helped me out big time. I've had friends help me at my other festivals in the past, but they have gone over and above the call of duty to make sure this goes good. They see it's a good cause, and all of my people are helping me big time with this.
Sure.
So,
And real quickly, Ross, tell us who some of the bands are. I know you've got some great entertainment lined up.
well, Friday night, everything starts at 6 p.m. We pretty much have, starting out with Bobby Evans' band, and he's a local blues band, and we call him kind of the the godfather of the thing, because he's a neat guy. You talk to him 5 minutes, you'll see he's an awesome guy. Andy Luban from Andy's Automatics is going to be playing. The First Degree Band, how neat is this? The oldest person in the First Degree Band is 15 and have opened for REO Speedwagon.
Wow.
I have never heard them, but I've heard these kids draw a crowd like you wouldn't believe, because, like I said, the oldest person is 15, and they're just phenomenal. So we wanted to try to implement the family thing. A Saturday, you know, we want kids. Kids are welcome to this. This isn't just, you know, a rock festival thing. This is, we want kids, we want bigs, littles, we want everyone to be here, because, you know, we don't want to alienate anybody, because we're going to have all kinds of different types of music.
Copper Box is going to be
Copper
there
Box
also,
will
right?
be on Saturday. Yep, and the Chris Aaron's band is going to be the band that plays on Friday night, closes out Friday night, and what I was told, they're a very big band, But pretty much on Saturday we have Colonel Angus, Newfound Flavor Reggae Band, so mixing it up, it's not just one style of music. SMB Band, my brother's in that, so I had to kind of
You got to plug that, right?
we had to get him in there. Yep, Greg Waters in the Broad Street Boogie, and then of course Copper Box is going to end up the night. Well, then Sunday we're going to have a car show like we've had in the past, and we're going to have Tuba Dan, who's a polka band. He's going to be playing live, and a pancake breakfast. So we're going to have a pancake breakfast.
Who's putting that on?
Seth Murphy from Mike's Place is going to be cooking. He's going to be flipping pancakes.
He's going to be working hard all
He
year.
already is working hard.
Oh my gosh, that guy, he is working overtime, because he's doing a fish fry on Friday night.
Yeah.
But we also have, for food, we have a broad stand, Glass Nickel Pizza. They're going to be selling pizzas out there, making pizzas. We have someone that's making gyros and kebabs, and we have a slushies, making, you know, the slushies things from Appleton. I don't know their name, I'm sorry about that. And we're working on the corn part. I had someone set up for the corn. Problem is, in August, all the corn roasters are being used. So he says, don't count me out. I'm calling everywhere to find one. So,
All right. Well,
you know,
hopefully
corn
we
is
can
kind of a
find one.
staple when it comes to a
It
festival.
is. All right. Well, again, that is the weekend of August 15th through the 17th. You can find out more information by going to BeMyBig.com, and when you're there, click on the big deal icon, if you will. So, thanks very much for being here.
Thanks
Thank
very
you
much.
for having
so
us.
much, and
Very
you know,
nice.
thanks for all you do.
Thank you.
We're going to take a very short break. When we come back, we'll be talking with some folks from Solutions Recovery. We'll be right back.
We just escaped.
I escaped by foot.
And ran across a border.
I couldn't practice my religion.
I was put to work in forced labor camps.
If I stay in Cambodia, I would have been dead by now.
If you think differently, then you're an enemy.
If you know how to read and write, you're dead. You speak your mind, you're dead.
The only way to express what I wanted to do was to get out.
I got to the country when I was about 14 years old.
I was 20.
I was 24.
I came here with nothing. No money, no English.
And America stood for freedom, it stands for freedom, and that's what all my generation, young generation, wanted to be there.
For the first time, I felt like I have a right to be on this earth.
Here, you can do whatever you want to do.
I love my life here. I feel at home.
I'm free to do what I want.
Freedom to me means my life.
How you doing?
Hi.
Hi.
Have a nice day.
You too.
Thanks.
If only child abuse were this easy to recognize. If you even suspect abuse, call 1-800-4-A-CHILD. All calls are anonymous and confidential. Trust your instincts.
Poor nutrition today will increase Sarah's chances of anemia, add to her healthcare costs, sick days, even stunt her ability to learn. And the thing is, Sarah's not even born yet. Get proper nutrition before it's too late. Call or visit WIC. WIC provides nutrition information, healthcare referrals, even food. Your child has you, and you have WIC.
Hi, welcome back to the second half of Eye on Oshkosh. We're joined now by Jerry Damel from Solutions Recovery Club. We're going to be talking a little bit about who they are, what they do, how things are going in their new location over on Evans Street in the 600 block over there. We're also going to be talking about the 12-step programs that they have to offer. And one of the people to assist us with that is a woman who's going to be known just as Candace. We've also, she's asked us to conceal her identity. So she is, this isn't the witness protection program, but we're going to respect and honor her wishes. She is off camera. You will not see her, but you will hear a voice coming from beyond. So at some point we'll be talking to Candace, and again, you will not see her. You'll just hear her. So thanks to both of you for being here tonight. We appreciate it very much. Last year there was some controversy that surrounded your group, Jerry.
Yes, there was.
Because you were asking for a conditional use permit to go into the 600 block of Evans Street, Dan's neighborhood, actually. You did get that, and it was approved, and it's been several months. So how are things going over there so far?
Things are going pretty smooth right now. We are learning how to cope with what we need to do with the conditional use permit, the provisions that they're asking us to do. We're trying to work with the neighbors with any issues that do arise. We are also trying to provide, we have a legal service that's provided to us so that we know what we actually need to do. We also have an advisory board. One of the biggest accomplishments we have done is we created a neighborhood advisory board. There's three neighbors on there, and there's 3 persons from the Solutions recovery community. So that was a big stepping stone for us to bring this in and start even. We've been trying to adhere, if there is any minor problems, we've been trying to adhere to the like noise, trying to keep that down to a minimum. It's when we have meetings there that when people leave, they'll pretty much leave at one time. So you have vehicles leaving, you have a lot of activity leaving, but it don't last no more than maybe 20 minutes to a half hour. But everything right now is we're getting ready to move ahead and still go maybe deeper in talking with the neighbors and see once if there is any problems, if we can correct them with them, and we want to be neighborly.
Sure.
We want to really be neighborly.
And you've got some events coming up too
Yes.
that we want to talk about, but let's start with the basics. What exactly is, you used to be called Cornerstone Club,
Correct, yes.
And now you're called Solutions Recovery Club.
Yes.
Why the word club? I guess that's one of my first questions.
Okay, the word club is because in the recovery community, a lot of things that happened in there was people were going to different areas and stuff where there was alcohol served, for them to socialize and things. A group of people in 1990 started a committee, and we found out that why don't we try to put a club together, a recovery club. We went to be 501c3. We went through all the legality, and what we did is we started out at, first off, going way back, we started out as Serenas Incorporated, and that was our mother organization. Then all of a sudden, Cornerstone, we used that for a name, and we started doing Cornerstone. And in about, I'm not too sure of the dates or anything, but early 2000, there was another club that appeared, and that was called the 12th Dimension. And that was
called what?
12th Dimension.
The 12th Dimension,
yes.
Okay.
And what it was is they ran into a problem with the lease, and they really didn't have anywhere to go. So we got together and we started talking, why have two recovery clubs in Oshkosh? Why don't we just work for one? So we did a merge. And like I said, we went through all the legality and through the state and everything, and we come up with the name Solutions Recovery Incorporated. And then we disbanded what we needed to do, disband 12D and change the name Cornerstone, and that's how Solutions was developed in 2007. Okay. And what we do is, because we have broadened the horizon of recovery, because we're more inviting to other recovery groups. A lot of them were primary, were AA and NA at that time, and Al-Anon. Now we have some adult children groups coming on. We have Alateen that is coming. There's a GA that has started.
GA.
Jay's Gamblers Anonymous.
Okay, all right.
And what these groups do, they come to Solutions because we offer meeting rooms. They pay rent. And then after they're done, there's a recovery environment. A lot of people don't realize that recovery environment is important for people in recovery. Because you can get distracted from the outside activities and things like that. We have a different kind of recovery personality, is what we do. Well, for me, I can speak, I've never met some of the most honest people in my life when they're talking about their addictions, how they feel, and what their feelings are now, how it's changed through their own personal 12-step recovery programs. And that happens when the meetings are over with and they come downstairs in the Solutions Lounge. It's like a meeting after a meeting. Mm-hmm. Then they often have their different social events. They'll go someplace maybe to eat. We have picnics that take place. We have gatherings that take place. We have one coming up in August where we call our Driveway Parkway Dance. Alcohol and drug-free event. Not many people have seen those in Oshkosh. No. And we have done those quite a few years on Market Street when we were located over there. So this is what we're trying to bring. We're trying to show that people can still have fun without alcohol and drugs. And so this is going to be a stepping stone for us in the neighborhood, because this is going to be an outside activity. Unless it rains, we'll take it inside. Okay. You know, but that's what we're trying to do. And we want to invite the neighborhood to come, the people who would like to come, you know, and we want to see them, you know, come in and join us, and there'll be some interesting conversations as the night goes along.
Sure,
yeah,
sure.
That,
so really, any kind of addiction is serviced, if you will,
yes.
by
Mm-hmm.
Solutions
yes.
Recovery.
Yes, we have no paid professional counselors or anyone. It's people helping people. What we offer is anyone that wants to come in and try to start a 12-step meeting will come and talk to the board, and the board will make a determination looking at what time frame they want to have, how much they want to utilize the time there, the availability of the rooms. We have 6 meeting rooms that are available, and this is how and then they pay rent, a monthly rent, and that's how the 12-step meetings approach. And once the meetings are there, we kind of, as Solutions, we kind of step out of the picture, mm-hmm. and we let them have their recovery meetings. Okay. We don't dictate to them what they have to do and need to do or anything like this. Okay.
Well, when you're talking about recovery, in my mind, mm-hmm. And I'm not being critical here, I'm just, sure. I guess I'm going to play devil's advocate, mm-hmm. because in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, people have addictions. There's nothing wrong with that, mm-hmm. and they're getting help. That's mm-hmm. a good thing. Mm-hmm. But how can they get the full extent of the help that they need if there are no professionals involved? Okay. You know, because everyone is kind of struggling. Right. Some may be mm-hmm. at different levels of, mm-hmm. of recovery, mm-hmm. which is helpful, mm-hmm. I'm sure. Mm-hmm. But how wouldn't they be better served, I guess, is a better
Okay.
question, with a professional?
Okay, we have what we call an outreach resource center.
Okay.
We have persons in recovery that if somebody is talking to them and saying they have a problem, depression is a big thing that goes
Sure.
along, okay? So what they would do is they would refer them maybe to a physician or have them go see somebody. We would refer to professional people. If there's a counseling issue or anything like that,
Okay.
there's different counseling. There's Mercy has the United Behavior, Appleton has St. E's, and then there's some independent counseling that is in the Oshkosh area. And what it is we try to just get our word out that we are in the neighborhood. We are trying to do what we can do, and there is sometimes where people in recovery who are new do struggle with depression or self-worth is a real, it takes alcoholism or any kind of addiction takes a lot of self-worth out of a person. So what happens is we try to do that and get the professional person in. But also the independent meetings of any 12-step recovery group has what we call sometimes they get themselves sponsors. And these sponsors, if they see some, because it's a more personal contact, then these sponsors will maybe say, maybe you need to go and see a professional person. I mean, there is a lot of people that have gone to see professional people. And we just give them a guideline, what you need to do, and everything else. And we've even asked people sometime to go out to the Jesuit retreat house and talk with Jesuits, because of the spiritual life that some of these people may need or something, like they may find it out there.
So really, your facility, if you will, is merely a meeting place for any kind of 12-step program that there may be out there.
That's correct.
Okay, I guess that's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
And of course, one of the staples of a 12-step program is anonymity, and that brings us to our anonymous guest in the corner. Again, we're calling her Candace, and only Candace, and we are not showing her face. But Candace, why don't you tell us a little bit about your involvement in the 12-step program and how you came to Solutions?
Well, again, my name is Candace. I'm very happy to be here tonight. One of the reasons why I am off camera and anonymity is so important to our 12-step program is the 12-step program has 12 steps and it has 12 traditions. And the 11th tradition states we are to maintain personal anonymity at the level of press, radio, TV, and films. And one of the reasons for that is that I do not speak, when I speak about my experience in a 12-step program, I do not speak for the entire 12-step program. So I don't represent, I just share my experience, strength, and hope, and I go from there. It's very important, and I'm very privileged to be here tonight for some community access on this area. It's so important. How I came about was I was a child of an alcoholic. I grew up in an alcoholic home that was very dysfunctional, verbally and physically abusive. And I, in tune, never wanted to be like my alcoholic parent was, and thus force became so. And did a lot of struggling along the way. I didn't go to a 12-step program right away. It was suggested to our family that the family members look at a program called Al-Anon, which is a 12-step program. And I finally went after years and got enlightened about just in general what the 12 steps are and how to live that way of life. And then after that, being in that program, they have certain brochures and things, and they talk about alcoholic behavior and, if you might have a problem, you might want to, look into this. And being in that program, I realized I did have a problem myself. So I then attended Alcoholics Anonymous and other 12-step groups to this day that helped me with that kind of living. The philosophy of a 12-step program is very important in my life today.
Okay. And how long have you actually been in recovery?
I've been in I've been in a 12-step program for, it will be 8 years, August 16th of 2008.
Okay. Now, you just corrected me, and I don't know why. So, and I'm sure that there's some reason for that. I've always just thought that someone, when they're in a 12-step program, they're in recovery. They're a recovering alcoholic. They're a recovering sex addict. They're a recovering, gambler, holic, whatever the word is for that. But you chose not to say that. Did I misspeak, or
No,
that's just a personal preference?
Yeah, you did
Okay.
not speak. It's a personal preference.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
All right.
a lot of people use other means of recovery besides a 12-step program.
Okay.
And so, like you were just talking about, the professionalism, going to counselors, going to a treatment center, all those things are separate from the 12-step program. So, myself, just in real short, my journey started about 5.5 years before I got to a 12-step program.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure we're being politically correct
Yep.
at all times, or whenever possible. So, Dan, go ahead.
I don't want to play good cop, bad cop, but you gave kind of a positive scenario of your relationship with the neighborhood. And the neighbors that I talked to say that this was a wonderful relationship until sometime earlier this summer when they witnessed state vans unloading felon prisoners on Evans Street. When did this new program commence, and why weren't the neighbors informed before the program was established?
The issue that they're talking about is one that has to do, nothing to do with solutions. Okay, what that is they are coming to a 12-step program. They're using solutions because the meeting that they attend is being held there, is what that is. The issue that they have was because the program that they were talking about is DAC.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
That is a program that they have a requirement for persons to come in who have alcohol and drug abuse backgrounds, is what they have.
But they're going to your facility.
They're coming to our facility for a meeting, is what they're doing.
Then aren't they using your facility?
No, they're coming there for a meeting, but they're not using the facility after theirs.
Okay, but the neighbor's concern is that, and my understanding is when the neighbors called you and Ken and Bill Lennon, your attorney, initially you said you were unaware of the program. How could that be?
I don't understand that one, but the DAC program that takes place, we're very aware of that.
Okay. But were you aware that they were
They
actually...
were probably not aware that the group showed up that night.
Okay. Does this violate your conditional use permit with the city?
Not to my knowledge. Not to my knowledge at all.
It wasn't in your conditional use permit when you applied?
Not to our knowledge. No. That's what we were talking about, legality. That's what we've been looking at and everything, and to our knowledge, we have not had that.
Are these prisoners still coming here?
No.
It's over with?
No, I can't say it's over with. I can say is it's been arrested for the thing of the period of right now is because the meeting, we cannot dictate to who can come to a meeting. That's one of the anonymity things that takes place at 12-step meeting. We cannot dictate who can come and who cannot come. No. The issue that arose with everything else, and I can see where the neighbors were talking about, is the issue that came is because these people were coming there for a meeting, and that was the only reason they were coming there, and then after that they leave.
But they didn't know about this at all before. Isn't that the purpose of your
The
committee?
meeting, okay, the meeting that took place before that was this group was meeting at a church on Bowen Street.
Okay.
And because we moved into the neighborhood and we have a larger facility, they came and asked us if they could come and rent a space to hold a meeting on Tuesday nights at 6 o'clock. That's what they asked us.
Just kind of help me with this. They're coming there for a meeting, but it's not your operation at all. I don't quite understand that.
We don't have anything to do with meetings. Solutions does not do anything with meetings.
Okay. Do you have the discretion to, if you think that something is maybe putting you in harm's way of violating your conditional use permit, do you, as a recovery club, if you will, have the discretion to be able to say, I'm sorry, we can't have that kind of meeting going on here, or we are endangering our conditional use permit with the city?
We can say that, yes, we can communicate that, you know. But the whole thing is once these clients or whoever are in these meetings, we cannot say anything.
But you can stop the meeting from happening before it happens.
We can make a suggestion or something like that. Okay.
Does that?
I think our other guest would like to comment on this because she's giving me a hand signal on this.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
If I could again.
Certainly.
The 12-step program has these 12 traditions. The 12-step program is, the 7th tradition is, states, we are self-supporting through our own contributions. And we are not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organization, or religion. So when a 12-step meeting finds a place that they want to rent and go to, they are not by any means connected with that organization according to their tradition. So all that 12-step program is doing is paying rent, because they are self-supporting through their own contributions. They cannot, like a 12-step program could not take any money from Solutions or another organization for any reason at all. Also with the prisoners, I have been at 12-step meetings with these individuals, and they are not meeting as a meeting just by themselves as a whole. They are in there with the community, with recovering people like myself and others, and they are also attended by 2 corrections officers.
Okay.
So they are not alone, and then they're brought there to and from. This happens all over the community. They are not just brought to Solutions. They're brought to churches where 12-step meetings are held. They're brought to community centers where they're held. Pretty much everywhere a meeting is held if the warden deems it okay, and then they have to go through just a ton of qualifications to come out, of that system.
All right. Thank you for that clarification. But it brought up another question in my mind. The 12-step program is just renting space. So in essence, you are a landlord then.
That's correct.
And and landlords have certain rules and ordinances that they have to abide by, so that if you were to be in violation of a conditional use permit, then you would have the legal ability, I suppose, to say, I'm sorry, that goes against what our conditional use permit was given to us for.
Correct.
So, I don't know, maybe a good idea in the future if things come up that might be questionable, call the city and see if it violates it. But anyway, did you have any more on that? Or?
No, I didn't. And thank Candace for that help on that.
You're welcome.
I wanted to talk before we end here, Jerry, about your fundraising efforts.
Yes.
Now, this past Tuesday night, and we're taping this on the, what is today, the 24th of July, I guess? Okay. The month is going by so quickly here. Didn't mean to make you choke there. A couple nights ago, there was a city council meeting, and you guys had 3 different items on the consent agenda, if you will, that the council was considering. And because of concerns of, I guess, too many things in too short a period of time is one of the arguments that I heard. They chose to approve the one, the closest one that we're at. It's coming up in early August. And the other 2 have kind of been laid over.
Correct.
You told us a little bit about the one on the 15th. Tell us a little more about that. Is there a charge for that for the public to come, or?
No, there's what we do is we sell food, refreshments.
Okay.
And there is donations boxes there. We do not charge any specific charge or anything like that, because some of the things that we receive are donated. So what we're doing is if people are buying sandwiches and stuff like that, that's part of our fundraising that we do with that.
So you pay for the concessions, and if you want to give like a goodwill donation, there'll be boxes there for that.
And we ask if anybody wants to join as a member to support. We offer memberships at like $8 a month for a single. I think it's $12 a month for a family.
What do you get for your membership dues?
You get a good welcome of fellowship and people in recovery.
Even if you're not in a 12-step program yourself,
That's right.
Now, this August 15th one is the only one of the 3 that it goes into the evening, and you have music until 10 o'clock?
Yes.
The other 2 are during the day?
They're during the day and everything else,
And those events are coming up when?
Let's see, the first one's coming up on August 15th, and that one I believe is from...
I think like noon to 10 or something.
Noon to, something like noon to 10 or something. That's the driveway parkway.
And that's the one that's been approved
Approved
already.
already,
Yes.
The next one that's coming up in September is what we call a Unity Picnic. And the Unity Picnic is, again, we want to invite anybody in who would like to come and join a alcohol and drug-free event. That's the emphasis that we put on these. They're alcohol and drug-free events. Anybody, if somebody comes and has a container of alcohol or something like this, what'll happen is they'll be offered possibly what we call a 12-step call with a beverage. And we all talk to them off on the side, and we tell them this, what our purpose is, you know, and we ask them to respect our purpose of what we're doing, you know, because we do have law enforcement that, and we don't want to do that, you know, but what we want to do is we want to be able to allow people to be free. We don't want to create a scene or anything else like this at all.
You said you do have law enforcement. Are you saying law enforcement will be there, or you have?
Well, with our permit, anytime we use a event, we contact the police and let them know we have. And what's neat is because a lot of them, they come around bike patrol, and they have cards for the kids, and the kids just swarm around, and they want those cards, you know, and they like talking to them. And it's a good, you know, because of the authority leadership that they show, and interacting with the kids, and even interacting with the recovery community. You know, there's people in recovery have a fear of law enforcement, you know, and so this is one of the things that we bring this all together.
It's a real switch in philosophy of this police department, isn't it?
Yes, a whole switch.
An admirable one.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
And then your third event is coming up when?
The third event is going to be, I've had a long day.
That's all right.
It's October, Jerry, isn't it sometime?
October 18th, I think. Okay, what it is it's in October. And October is Alcohol Awareness Month.
Okay.
And then what we're putting is, because there's Oktoberfest and all this, we're putting Soberfest.
Okay.
Is what we put together.
That's a neat idea.
And we have done this before with the street dancer, but we're just doing this with a picnic type thing. And what we especially like to offer the neighborhood, if they would like to come, because we will be having speakers on recovery that will be speaking periodically in the afternoon, and there'll be one or two speaking at night. And what we will be doing, we will be putting out a brochure as to what kind of addiction they will be speaking about.
Okay.
And what this is what we call like an open speaker, which anybody can come to and listen. And we do the Saturday Night Live twice. The second week of every month is what we do, is Saturday Night Live. And that brings in 40, 45 people. Okay. It's sometimes because the neighbors aren't used to it or anything else, and that's one of the issues that was brought up because of all of the noise and everything. So we might move that into the church.
Okay.
That we have away from the neighbors a little more.
And unfortunately, we're out of time. They're holding up a 30-second card for me already.
Okay.
But if people want to attend or they want to donate, they can contact the center at or the club at 233-0888.
Correct.
Correct. Or stop by 621 Evans. So thanks very much to Jerry and Candace both for being here tonight, and thanks to Dan and the crew, and to all of you at home. We'll see you next time. Until then, take good care. Keep your eye on us. We've got our eye on Oshkosh.